All right, we are back again. Welcome to another video. Um, this video, we are actually going to be talking about place values and kind of some different place values that exist, and also just a way that you can actually use place values to make addition and subtraction a little easier. But before we get that, we need to understand the concept of a place value and kind of just the concept of numbers to start off. So, for what place values actually are, place values are the spot a digit can occupy in a number that determines its values. So, whenever I'm talking digits, I am talking the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Those are all the digits that you will currently need to use, and you can only put one of those digits in a specific place value. So to start off, we need to understand the basic concept of what these numbers actually mean. So I have some pictures to kind of help us. The first one is the number 1, and we can see that the number 1 is equal to one of these squares, whereas the number 10 is equal to 10 of these same squares. And just imagine that those are the exact same size. Following that, we're actually going to start with decimal place values because they're a little harder to understand. Decimal place values are fractions, and they are always to the right of this decimal point. And this decimal point is important because it breaks up a number in between the standard place values, which are the ones, tens, etc., and the place values that end in THS, or your decimal place values. So your tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, and 100,000ths, and so on and so on. And the numbers are infinite, so that is where we're actually going to stop with those. So following that, I've kind of got some arrows drawn to help you understand where these numbers are in relative positions. Starting with the first one, which we're going to cover, is the tenths. The tenths is always to the right of the decimal, and you will notice that all of these numbers actually end in THS, and that can be an indicator for really helping us remember how to spell these numbers and recognize them. So the tenths is the first one, and we can see an arrow drawn over to that. Following the tenths, we have the hundredths, the thousandths, the 10,000ths, and the 100,000ths. So these are all fractions of a number. So can you imagine how small a 100,000th of something would be? Just pick anything that you can think of and think about taking 100,000th of that. It's going to be so small, because we know fractions divide things. Well, following that, we also have the standard place values in this beautiful, colorful slide. We're going to start with the first place value to the left of the decimal. So these are always to the left of the decimal point, and the first one you have here is your ones, then your tens, then your hundreds, and after every 3 numbers here, we're going to put a comma. You don't need to do this for decimals, only our standard place values. So after the hundreds, we have the thousands, 10,000, 100,000s, another comma. Your millions, 10 millions, 100 millions, another comma. Following your 100 millions, you have your billions, 10 billions, 100 billions, and finally your trillions. And again, these numbers are infinite, so they could go on and on and on, but we're just going to stop right here because this is really all you need to know as far as 5th grade math is concerned. Now, after we have our place values covered, another strategy I want to teach you is your place value chart. Now, place value chart can help us really break up a number and decide where it goes. So right here I have the number 12 and 11 hundredths. Now, what's really important to notice is go ahead and put a line through your decimal point, and each digit gets its own place value, just like what we covered earlier. And we can go back and look and compare if we needed to, but it's really easy to just remember the rules and follow your patterns after that. We know that the first place value to the left of the decimal is going to always be your ones, and your first place value to the right is always going to be your tenths. Now, the first place value, again, is the ones, and we can follow our pattern with our tens following after. And then I could fill in my decimals with my tenths and hundredths. And why we do this is it kind of helps us organize, especially with addition and subtraction, especially if your child's struggling writing in a straight line. I would recommend using graph paper or just lining up your numbers this way to keep it nice and organized and really help us understand the concept of place values. And again, this is a quick review, but I think that about concludes it for this video, and I hope to hear from you next time. Thanks. Bye.